empowering minds, amplifying voices, and transforming lives. This is the Untold Stories of Hope podcast brought to you by the Destiny Connect Foundation. Your hosts, Zion Enogewu and Puffy Medupe.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone. Depending on where you are joining us from all over the world, I want to say a very big thank you and welcome to Untold Stories of Hope podcast. And I tell you, it's going to be an interesting conversation, hearing from amazing people as they share with us deep insights about their unique stories, how powerful it is, which has transformed their life. And we are using this story to also transform other people's life too. I'm your host today. My name is Zion Enogeru, and I'm joining you all the way from Nigeria. And I'm not doing this all by myself. I have my friend, my brother, all the way from South Africa, Mr. Puffy. So I'm reading back to you now, Mr. Puffy, so you can just say hi to the audience.
Thank you so much, Zion. And I would like to say hello to everyone watching globally, wherever you are. Of course, my name is Pafimidu B. And yes, I'm stationed here in South Africa, and I'm happy to be co-hosting with Mr. Zion Enegeru. This is Untold Stories of Hope podcast. This is where we bring a lot of beautiful stories that are going to inspire you and help you move forward and propel to success. And this is brought to you by Destiny Connect Foundation. And we are excited to be here. This is not just a platform of talking, but it's a platform of hope. It's a platform of healing. It's a platform whereby everyone can blossom and become a better version of themselves. I always say Destiny Connect Foundation is a very great, organization that gives a lot of opportunities, starting from the 3Cs roundtable that we spoke about all the time. And this is a table that brings people together from all walks of life, diversity and inclusiveness, as Mr. Zion always say. And we give people a chance to come in the same platform to learn and be equipped about the principles of humanity. You can always go to the social media pages of Destiny Connect Foundation, especially on LinkedIn. You can follow the organization and you can learn more about the 3Cs. And also, you can be part of Untold Stories of Hope podcast, which will be found on the website where you can click and check all the episodes that have been recorded. So we are most welcome, and we are presenting this with all of the energy and the excitement and the flexibility that you can receive everywhere, because we are with great guests today. So Mr. Zion, thank you so much, for welcoming me in this regard. I feel so welcome. I feel at home.
All right, you've heard it all from my co-host Puffy. I tell you, in here in this space, we are here to empower minds, we are here to amplify your voices, and we are here to transform your life. Peradventure, you might be thinking, oh, I have a unique story. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to put it. That's why we are here for you. We believe every one of us, we have a unique stories to share. And I tell you, your story has the power to encourage somebody. Your story has the power to motivate. Your story has the power to inspire people from all over the world. So do not keep silent about your story. We are here to help you share your story to the world so you can make the impact and see lives being transformed globally. So welcome once again to the Untold Stories of Hope podcast. I tell you, it's a place you want to be. And we will be so glad to receive you and help you amplify your voice and share your story all over the world. And today we have special guests with us. We have amazing people with us today. It's such a privilege to have them. I tell you, listening to them, your life will be transformed. Listening to them, you'll be inspired because they each have a unique story that for me, I'm inspired every time I listen to them, every time I hear them speak. And I tell you, be expectant because they are here to motivate you, to inspire you, and share with you their own unique story and how they have been able to navigate life to be where they are today. Mr. Puffy, I will allow you the privilege to help us introduce our special guest today.
Thank you so much, Mr. Z. So now we all have an untold story. I'm going to share my story later onwards. We have the founder of Destiny Connect Foundation, Mr. James Ojo himself. He's quite an exceptional man. He inspires a lot of people globally. And he's the one who founded the vision that now is impacting, the lives of many people positively. Even Untold Stories of Hope podcast, he's the one who gave birth to it, and we are supporting the vision. And we also have the phenomenal Dr. Janine Dokabo. She's so great with transformational leadership and coaching, because she has a lot of great, impactful messages that she normally shares with a lot of people globally. And we also look up to her because we have heard and seen how her contribution to Destiny Connect Foundation has been so amazing. And she's also here in our midst. We also have Stuart Elliott, who's the advisory board member of Destiny Connect Foundation. He's also, I call him the brains of the organization, because a lot of beautiful stuff that are being developed, it's also under his surveillance and supervision. And I really respect, all the great men and women who are in our platform. We are going to talk to them. We are going to hear all their untold stories of hope. And this is a platform, I said, whereby you can feel comfortable, you can share your comments, you can be able to dial in and say, hey guys, these are the questions that I have, then they will answer them immediately. So without further waste of time, I'm going to start with the founder of Destiny Connect Foundation, Mr. James Ojo. I'm always interested and intrigued with the idea of how the vision of Destiny Connect Foundation was birthed. I mean, I listened to your story. One day I was sitting with Mr. James Ojo. I had the privilege of having a sit down with him over coffee, and he told me his story of how, he grew up, how he lived his life, the challenges that he went through. And I've heard already many untold stories from him that he's going to share in this platform, and how really he has got this passion and the love for humanity. Now, Mr. James Ojo, welcome to Untold Stories of Hope podcast. And I just want to ask you a quick question. What inspires you? How did you come to give birth to this vision of Destiny Connect Foundation?
Thank you so much, Mr. Puffy. And I just want to say thank you, Zion, for being an amazing host. You and Puffy, you guys are rockstars. You guys are amazing in this platform. And I just want to greet Mr. Stuart Elliott and Dr. Jenny DeCabo. So my name is James Ojo, and I'm the founder of the Destiny Connect Foundation. By the grace and by the strength and by the privilege, I have the honor to lead the organization. So with the help of amazing people, and because without them, we wouldn't be here today. Without them, there won't be anything called the vision or anything called the mission. And because it takes two to tango, and it takes a whole village to raise a kid. So Destiny Connect Foundation is founded last year, year 2023. And now this is the second year of our journey together. But yeah, the journey has always been through inspiration and through the love of humanity. For many years, I've been reaching out to community, but 2022 changed my life completely when I was out reaching out to a local charity organization, and that are really battling severe food challenges. They couldn't even afford to feed the kids, because this organization is dedicated to early childhood development. They provide shelters, they provide education for children that are orphans and children that are from broken homes, or children from parents that are battling with chronic disease. So I reached out to them on their fateful day. It was on October 27, to be precise, 2022. I was reaching out to them, and as I got there, I got engaged with the center manager, and before the story, it became a custom for me for over the years, whereby every year on my birthday, I will go there and share cake with this kid, because I love kids so much. So kids, I have a big heart for kids. So on my birthday on September 13, I will go to this center and share my cake with them. I choose to celebrate with them rather than celebrating with everyone else. But yeah, I believe they inspire me. And coming from a very humble background myself, I know what it means for someone not to have, for someone to lack, and for someone to live in poverty. So, and anytime I go there, I always receive this inspiration and motivation that I can be the source of inspiration to this kid, and I can be a beacon of hope. But on this particular day that I went there for a visit in October 27, 2022, it was a day that that this year has to be better too. So what happened really was a very terrifying and horrible situation, but I am glad that it happened because when I got there and they said they don't have food, the kids will be back from school and there's nothing to feed the kids. And again, if you want to build a better future, if you want to empower people, first you need to you need to feed them. You cannot potentially or effectively empower people without first feeding their mind or feeding their body. So now let's talk about the kids, the children, their tiny body, they need nutrition, so, but this particular kids, they are actually, they were suffering from malnutrition. There was no food. So I quickly rushed to a grocery store to purchase whatever I could, with a whole faith in my heart that day I was able to save the day. I was able to bring hope, a little bit of hope, to these children. So, but on getting back to the center with the groceries that I purchased, the fresh produce that I purchased, my hope was yet scattered and my heart was ripped apart. Reason being that when I moved close to the to a truck already, I found a truck there. At first, I was like, oh yeah, today is a good day. I came just about 30 minutes ago, and right now there's another truck offloading groceries. So when I moved close to this truck, my hope was shattered. Because what I found was really, really terrible. And it was heartbroken to see that people who are meant to give more than enough, people who are meant to rekindle the hope of humanity, they could care less, and they don't mind to just give out of waste, not out of abundance, but out of waste. And in the light of, oh, we want to give back so that we can get a tax rebate for whatever that we're giving back. So when I moved close to this truck, more than 90% of the groceries of whatever they brought there, that they call it, because I could not even, and I believe that you and I could not even feed that to a stray dog, talk less of human. So I was really, really heartbroken. And I remember, because right away I called my life coach, and I said, look what is happening here. So, and I think there's an outcry for me to, for me to do something, but I don't know how. But I know that, it is time now for me to do something. So anyway, I left that day again with a lot of questions in my mind, in my head. And I was like, okay. But something was kept telling me that asking me that, James, if it is not now, when? When are you going to get up? When are you going to be the change that you want to see? Look, today your heart is broken. You are trying to make a positive difference here, but someone here is ripping that apart. So when are you going to start? When are you going to bring people with your influence? Because you are put in this world with a purpose to ignite, to inspire change and to ignite hope in humanity. So when are you going to start that? But again, the question that comes to me is that how? How do I do this? But again, the answer, while I was driving back, the answers kept coming. No, but you have people. Look at people that looks like you, people that sound like you, people that have the same heart like you. Talk to them, bring them together, and you are able to make even more impact. So that is how Destiny Connect Foundation was better too. And I was able to start, reaching out to change makers, reaching out. First of all, I started with my life coach. I was like, you know what, this is the mission, this is the vision that I have, and this is the change that I want to make, but I need help. So we started bringing, ideas together and ways to reach out to the people who are also looking to make an impact in the life of others, but they don't know how. So, but I believe that whenever we have a reason, whenever we have the heart to make a difference, there's always a how. And the how is even part of what we are doing today. So thank you so much, Mr. Puffy, and I will share more later on.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. James, for taking us through memory lane to tell us about your unique story. And I could feel the passion, I could feel the love, I could feel the enthusiasm as you were speaking, all being evident in your voice, seeing the fact that, you didn't just hear about these things, you saw it with your eyes and you were moved. And that's what we are talking about. That's how we make the impact. It's not just about those who are talking. It's not just about those who are looking. It's about those who are taking necessary step, taking the action to be able to make an impact. And I love something you said. You said, you have to become what you have to see. And that was very profound. Most persons want to see impact, but for you to see impact, you have to become an impact. And I could imagine what those kids were going through at that very point in their life, and seeing the trucks that had to bring the grocery and that wasn't even fit for dogs to eat. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us to inspire us. I'm sure the listeners at home, they have been inspired by what you've been shared today. This is just the tip of the iceberg, I tell you. There's so much stories that needs to be shared. There's so many things that you need to hear from people, because these are the kind of story that inspire the world. These are the kind of the story that makes it different. These are the kind of story that becomes a catalyst, that triggers visions and passions in the hearts of people. So thank you so much, Mr. James, for giving us a brief summary of your story and how Destiny Foundation was being bettered. All right, now we are moving forward. Yes, we have
I would love as Zion to bring Stuart in. This is very interesting. I mean, from what Mr. James Ojo said, it's a very powerful, illustration of what a vision means. Now, Stuart, if, we've got a lot of people all over the world, some they feel like they've got a vision and they don't have resources. Some they feel like they have a vision, but they are limited by so many factors around them. It can be factors of the environment where they are in or whatever it is. What can you say to someone somewhere in the part of the world who feels like they can never reach the fullness of their potential because they are limited either by resources or any other factor that is trying to prevent them from moving forward?
Okay, so the first thing I would suggest is they're only limited by their thinking, because there's always a way if you think outside of your limitations. And I would also question everybody here, do you know really, truly, deep down what is possible for you, what you can do if you need to, or you decide truly in your heart you want to do? And that's a big question, because for most of us, we are living in a world of, I can't. Now, I love Africa, number one, and I've had 20 years living there, and I've had some interesting experiences in the bushveld areas. I'll share one now with you, and it's a double part story to just show what we can actually do if we set our mind to it. With that, sometimes we don't even know we're setting our mind to it. So it was one New Year, my ex-wife and I, we were in the Tulu Block area, and we'd been on a walking safari. The Tulu Block area, Botswana, for people who've not been been in that area, it's the border of South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Botswana. And it's fairly remote. We had to cross the Limpopo River on a footbridge. There's no driving over at that particular border point. We were then met by the people from the camping. We were camping in a tented camp. And on our last day, it was New Year's morning. And the ranger said, look, I'm going to be celebrating the New Year. I'm not getting up in the morning to take you on an early morning game drive. So he said, you're okay, just go. And this area, they've got everything. I don't think they've had lions at the time, but they've got everything else there. And we've been woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning by a herd of elephants, about 50 to 100 elephants coming through the camp, feeding off the acacia trees that were there. And we spent about an hour watching them. And then, because it's midsummer, dawn was breaking very soon. So we decided, okay, it's time to go out for a walk now. And we go off for a walk. And we were somewhere, I don't know where, we were enjoying the peace, the dawn rising through the bush, everything else. And all of a sudden, I felt this thing on my neck, and what the hell, and then there's another one, and another one. And then all of a sudden, I was dancing around like a demented dervish. I was being attacked by a whole swarm of killer bees. And I thought to myself, and I won't say the words, but I just decided to run. Because number one, I wanted to get away. But number two, I was hoping that I would take the swarm with me away from the other people. There's only 3 of us there, my wife, some other guy, and myself. And I ran like hell. And I'm running and running and running. And then I hit some rocky ground and I felt my legs giving way. And I thought to myself, if I go down now, I'm dead. That's it, finished. So I didn't. Somehow, in the midst of falling over, I also managed to saw my underpants and then stop that action right in its tracks and found power. And I powered through this rocky ground. And I thought at the time, God help those elephants if I find them, because they're going to be scattered like skittles at a bowling alley. So I was running and I managed to outrun the bees. And then I thought, well, where the hell's everybody else? I've got to find the people. So I went back, very, very warily, tracing my footsteps, and I found them. And I was sad to see that I wasn't the only person who'd been stung. My wife had been stung almost as badly as me. And we counted nearly 90 stings in our armpits, in our groin, in our ears, in our hair, everywhere. And this is not a good situation, And the other guy, companion, was with us. He was nowhere to be seen. So I thought, okay, well, we better find this guy quickly, because if these things take hold, we're in the middle of nowhere. We're 3 or 4 hours away from the nearest hospital. So we managed to find him down the bottom of a vertical cliff that he somehow managed to scale down. Luckily, he was only stung once, but his arm was like, a big balloon. He was allergic, and we didn't seem to be so badly affected. But we got him up, and then I noticed my wife was going into shock. So I said, okay, that's it. Let's get back to camp as quick as we can. And we got back there, and then my wife lay down and was recuperating. I decided to go and clean, and then we were going home that day. So I packed up all the bags. And what was interesting was I didn't notice any stings. I didn't feel anything. I was focused on going home. I've got 3 hours to the border. We've got to get through customs and immigration. Got to pick up the car. Then we got a 7-hour drive back to Joburg. And that's all I was interested in. And that's what happened. We got home. No effects from the stings whatsoever for me. My wife was okay. She managed to recuperate a little bit. And then we got home safely, no problems whatsoever. We were tired, obviously, and we got to sleep. Next morning, I'm like a big balloon. I'm like the original Michelin Man. Massive, swollen everywhere. Now, what did I do on that drive home? I decided I had something more important to do. I wasn't allowing the stings to stop me. And that's something that to think about very, very carefully, because we don't know what's possible if we really set our mind to it. So if we go back to your original question, I think it is the mindset which is limiting people. Yeah, we may not have this, we may not have that, but there's always something we can do to find a way to, make up for it, or even achieve those things. But we have to believe deep down that we can. And that is the key, I would suggest, to everything in life. Without belief, you can't go forward. The problem is, for most people, their belief is in the I can't. It's not in the I can. So, something to ponder.
That's powerful, Stuart. Mr. Z, as I'm listening to Stuart, I understand the factor of mindset, like you were saying, to say it's only a mindset. If you say I can't, there is I can in that I can't. And that's the point. So now let me, bring Dr. Janine into the conversation.
Let me just
yes.
finish off with one thing.
Oh, yeah.
My daughter, my eldest daughter, is about 7.5. She's always going into I can't. And I keep telling her, it's a light switch. That I can't is a light switch. You turn the lights off, you can't see. As soon as you say I can't, you're switching the light off. Why don't you switch the light on and find the way?
Powerful. That is powerful. Thank you so much, Stuart. That's very powerful. Simple scenarios that can change your mindset and your attitude, towards circumstances and whatever that approaches you. Thank you so much for that. I learn a lot. Just before I bring Dr. Janine into the conversation, myself, I've got an untold story. Zion has got an untold story, and we're going to share with you, because the question that I'm going to ask Dr. Janine now is in reference of, there are so many people out there who are living in brokenness, Dr. Janine. There are so many people out there, who cannot tap in that untapped potential. And it's because of brokenness. I always share my story, and I don't stop sharing my story, because every time I tell someone my story, they are like, wow, how did you come out? Growing up from brokenness and from not being treated well, at home, living in pain, living in discomfort, I remember how I became, a child that was living in trauma and, brokenness and depression at a young age. And that is the very reason that, made me to end up being an alcoholic at the age of 20. I was feeding on alcohol, and that was not nice, because I wanted healing. I wanted to get out of this brokenness. I wanted to find something that I can substance to hold on to. And today I'm a life coach, and I do a lot of great work. Me and Zion, we are both ambassadors, global ambassadors for Destiny Connect Foundation. And it's an honor that a man who was once a broken man, an alcoholic, a man who was rejected, from home, by community, by so many people, today having to become a global impactor. That's an honor for me. And it's a story that I believe, that it really gives me hope that there are so many people out there who are living in same circumstances, and they can still find a way. So Dr. Janine, let's talk about people who are living in brokenness, people who think there is no hope in life, people who think, they're thinking suicide. Some of them, they are thinking drug abuse, alcohol abuse. Some of them, they're thinking so many things. And let's be honest, Dr. Janine, we have even young kids, we've got young people who are underage. Some, they have given themselves into pornography. Some, they have given themselves into so many things. What can you say to people who are going through that, whether young or old? What can you say to them, Dr. Janine?
Thanks, Buffy. And I think you said it there, that there are so many people that come from brokenness, and the world at this point in time is broken. So if you are going through life and stuff happens, then I almost want to say, it's so sad to say, but you are almost a normal person. The good news, however, is that we can grow from brokenness. And I firmly believe that your test that you are going through now is going to be your testimony. And Puffy, you are a real life example of that. You're sitting there coming from brokenness. You've taken that opportunity, you've grown through that, and now you are where you are today, and I think each person has a story of brokenness. Most people have that place. It's just, have you taken advantage of that brokenness? And now you think to yourself, like, how can I even put advantage and brokenness in the same sentence? But that's exactly what you have to do. Is you can sit there, and a coin has two sides, and so has brokenness. It can break you or it can make you. You can truly choose if you're going to be better at the end of the day, or if this situation is going to make you more bitter. And you've done that, Puffy, for yourself. I was in a similar situation. There's a lot of things that happened as I grew up and I was growing up. But I think for me, the moment that I decided that things has to change was around 2009, when I went through what I call the 4 Ds. So depression, delivering a baby, death of income, and I was just and divorce at the same time. I think for me that was an accumulation of stuff through my life that just happened all at the same time, and I was like, I am done. This is it. And I also say, one of my mentors always say to me, because I felt at that point in time I was at rock bottom, and their advice to me is, the good thing about that is that the rock is at the bottom. And I remember that was something that I held on to at that stage, and I was like, you know what, this is my ticket out of here, and this is my ticket on change. This is how I'm going to do it. I ain't going to sit in this valley. I'm going to walk through this valley. And that was my conviction at that time. And I was like, whatever is now being bitter, I'm going to turn that into better. And I took that opportunity. Puffy, that is where my book comes from, intentionality. That's where I learned and implemented those 10 intentional ways in order to get out of there. And I went back to the simple things in life and I said, what is it that you need? You need soul, you need relationships, you need a vision. You know, you need finances, you need a business, you need family, you need community more than anything else. And I started building those blocks again in my life. And I was like, these are the building blocks for a good, healthy, and prosperous future. And that's how I built my life. And it's now more than 10 years later. I'm a totally different person. And I had a choice back then, but I made the right choice. Was it easy? No. Was it always easy? Never. You always get tempted to go back into negative thinking, and you always get tempted to give up, you know. And I don't believe in quitting. I just like, there's just another way of doing it. We found a way that doesn't work. Let's find another way that does. And we're always pushing through. So for me, it really doesn't matter where you find yourself today and what scenario you find yourself in life, or what circumstance you find yourself in. You have the ability to still choose. Even if you've lost everything else, you still have the ability to choose. And if you choose the positive way, if you choose the testimony part, then you can turn your life around. You can turn your circumstances around. Pornography does not define you. Alcoholism does not define you. Those things addiction does not define you. Your future is yet to be defined by you. And it's your turn to take up that responsibility and to say that I am going to make a difference. Each one of us is here for a purpose and a plan, and each one has a unique role that we need to play within our communities, within our societies, within our families, in order to make a difference. And that's what I believe, Buffy, is each one of us has the ability to make the right choice on purpose, intentionally. That's what I speak about often, is you can intentionally, on purpose, decide to be successful. And then you can become that person. It's very much what Stuart said, is what are you thinking about? Your thoughts, you know. You must think, I always say, we must think about what we are thinking about. And if those thoughts are not positive, then, you know, you're obviously going the wrong way. And if you think about depression just for a second, you don't just become depressed one day, right? You're not just depressed. You go down a road of negative thought patterns, or it's negative thoughts that forms negative thought patterns. And eventually your pattern is negativity. And people focus so much on that. And I always think to myself, but why don't you just do the opposite? Because it works exactly the same way. In order to become a positive person with a positive life, you start thinking positive thoughts that forms a positive thought pattern that forms a positive life. Because who you are is what you're going to project. You attract who you are. And if you're not that person yet that you are aiming and want to be, well, then it's very simple. Surround yourself with people like that. And that's what communities like this is for, is to surround yourself with like-minded people with a vision of positivity, a vision of impact, a vision of change. And that's how we're going to do it, Puffy. So it really doesn't matter where you find yourself today. There's hope for you for a great future, and you still have the time to turn it around.
Wow, that was absolutely brilliant, Dr. Janine. You were speaking my language about positivity, and I was all smiling, listening to you, hearing you talk about your story. And something was very profound about everything you said. And I just want people who are listening to us to take a very good note. You said, take advantage of your brokenness. Yes, you are in that place where you are right now for a reason. Nothing happens by chance. So you must understand that where you are right now, it's a catalyst for where you want to be. So take advantage of your brokenness, and you can grow from that place. You can grow from a place of brokenness. From your test, you become a testament. From your mess, you become a message. For you to get a tree, you have to bury the seed. And for most of us, what you are going through right now, it looks like you are being buried like a seed. Well, I tell you, if you keep believing, like Mr. Stark said earlier, the power of your mindset. Your mindset is very important. So right now you might think you are being buried, but tomorrow you will become that tree, the tree that produces good fruits, that becomes valuable to other people all over the world. Just listening to the stories, I've been inspired because it's very important we get to hear the stories, because I know there are many persons right now who might be broken, might be going through a tough time, you might be thinking in a place of depression, you feel like taking your life. There is hope for you. There is hope for you. What you are going through right now does not define you. You have a role to play in defining yourself and where you want to be. And do you know the good news? It's not limited to certain kind of people. So it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter your skin color. It doesn't matter your story. It doesn't matter how tough it is. I tell you, you can overcome. You can overcome. You can become anyone you want to be if only you believe. And I always say this, there is nothing impossible to a man that believes. How much do you believe? How much do you believe you're going to succeed? How much do you believe you're going to overcome? How much do you believe you're going to be great? Is that how you will be great? So it's so powerful to hear people share their story. And I love it when Dr. Jenny was talking about positivity, because for me personally, it's all about positivity and spreading it to every corner of the earth. And I tell you, I wasn't all positive at the beginning. In fact, I came from a place of chronic depression. I came from a place of even trying to take my own life, because I felt that, wow, there is nothing to live for. There is nothing that makes sense about life. But do you know, from that point, that's when I find my purpose. So for you, you might be broken right now. You can find purpose from your brokenness. You might be hurt right now. You can find purpose from that hurt. You might be angry right now about something that happened. I tell you, you can find purpose from that anger. It's a matter how you see things. You see, when you change the way you see things, what you see will change. So it's about mindset. And I so love this conversation today, because we're having people sharing their story to inspire you. And I tell you, you too, your story can also inspire people just the same way the stories we have heard today have inspired each and every one of us. So do not sit back, do not relax. Your voice can be a catalyst to inspire somebody out there. And let me tell you something, what you are going through right now, somebody else is going through that same thing. What you have gone through before, somebody else is already going through that same thing. And you being able to come out, share your story, those people can hear and they will be inspired. They will find hope. If Dr. Jenny can survive, meet.
Oh, yes. That's my
I
co-host.
too,
Oh, yes.
I too can come out and be better. So we all have a unique story. So I encourage you all, come out, let's amplify your voice so that you can be able to make an impact with that unique story of yours. Yeah, Mr. Puffy, you have anything to say?
Thank you so much, Mr. Z. We lost you for a second there. I thought, oh my God, he's gone. Thank you so much. If you just tuned in now, welcome to Untold Stories of Hope podcast. It's brought to you by Destiny Connect Foundation. We empower minds, amplify voices, and transform lives. So I'm your host, Mr. Pafi Midupi, and I'm with Mr. Zion Enegeru. And we are grateful to be here in the presence of Stuart Elliott, Dr. Janine Dokabo, and James Ojo. We are still continuing the conversation as we are heading closer to wrapping up. But I think what you said, Zion, is very much important and very powerful. That's why you are Mr. Positivity, because your story is also touching a lot of people, coming from that place of brokenness. Now, let me bring back Mr. James Ojo. Let's talk about forgiveness. One of the modules that we do on the 3Cs roundtable, we do a topic about forgiveness. And I know there's many people who are watching out there who are struggling with this very element of forgiveness. I'm one person, I'm guilty of such, especially a couple of years ago when I struggled to forgive people. And now forgiveness becomes broad, especially when you come into corporate and social impact. It becomes now a broader subject because you are now talking about collaborations. You are talking about communication, connection, and collaboration. So, Mr. James Ojo, let's talk about this untold story that you have, in regard to forgiveness, because it will inspire someone out there who's struggling to forgive themselves, number one, and to also forgive those maybe that might have caused a lot of issues in their lives.
Thank you so much, Mr. Puffy. So I will start by saying unforgiveness is when you drink a poison and expect someone else to die. And unforgiveness can cause you to carry a baggage that can slow you down forever. And unforgiveness is, someone's, Lewis Smith says that unforgiveness is when you put yourself in prison and again you blame someone else. But why are you in prison? Every day you blame, oh, I cannot move forward. I cannot move forward. I don't know why things are like this for me. But again, you have a lot of resentment, a lot of unforgiveness within you. So first, for you to set yourself free, you need to forgive yourself. So that's what forgiveness does. So, and relating to my story, I came to South Africa in 2013. It's almost 11 years now. And yeah, my first 6 months of being in South Africa wasn't pleasant at all. I've been through a lot. I was robbed, close to being stabbed to death, but I thank God. And yeah, I didn't get to be stabbed to death, but because I released whatever I had on me that day. So I think, yeah, if there's life, there's always a hope, So I believe that whatever that I had is not equal to my life. So I let it go. So I escaped being stabbed to death. So a lot has happened. And again, when it comes to dehumanizing, I've received a lot of, racial comments and all of that. So now coming to see that this person that have been through so much pain and so much dehumanizing experience can still want to give back or can still want to make a difference in the life of others. Why? The answer is love. I think I have love that I lack, growing up. I have it within me. I came from a very big, family, and I've been since 2008, I've been by myself. I've been a lone wolf, So yeah, I always think ahead, I'm always living in survival mode, So, and like I said earlier, I know what it means to come from a very humble background, having little to nothing, So when I came to South Africa, and irrespective of how I was treated or I've been treated, I still have the love that fills my heart, and I choose to forgive people that treat me bad. Yeah, people that actually even look like me, they treated me bad. I've been, yeah, close to, being attacked, in terms of xenophobic and all of that. But at the same time, I have love for people, love for humanity. And in 2017, when I started my first business, when I came into entrepreneurial world, my first business was in manufacturing of cleaning detergent. And I still remember that I made a promise that every month I will pack cleaning detergent and donate it to charity organization that's in my community. And I started doing that. Then I came across this early childhood development where they're these vulnerable kids, and they become my friends. They become my brothers. They become my sisters. I've become an uncle to them. So, and I celebrate my birthday with them every year because I love them. I love them, and that love, and I forgive whatever anyone, the way I've been treated or the way whatever people have said to me, I forgive people. So I let love to conquer, to overcome bitterness and to overcome unforgiveness. And through that, I was able to find my purpose. And my purpose in this world is to help other people to see the light. It is to help other people, to connect them with the resources that they need for their life to be transformed. And I think that is what that was the purpose of me even going to that, traveling to that organization on that particular day, for my purpose to be rekindled, for me to realize that, okay, this is why I'm actually here. And this is the right time for me to make a difference. This is right time for me to stand up. But like everyone, like we have said, we are not alone. And I believe that once I started to think that, oh yeah, there's a positivity here. There's something that needs to happen here. So, and I want to do it. And I believe that, again, it is human dignity to wants to make a difference. And again, all I need to do is to think that I can make a difference. And the moment I start to think that I can, then I will be surrounded. The people will come to me, the people that I need, the resources that I need will start, attracting me, coming to me, and I'll start attracting these resources. And that is how, my journey has been so far. But I want to say that if you have unforgiveness, if you live in bitterness, if you live live with resentment, there's no way that you can actually see the possible change ahead of you. So thank you so much, Mr. Puffy and Zion.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. James. That was very powerful. And I love the analogy you used, taking poison and taking somebody else to die. That was very profound. And unforgiveness is like that. For most people, unforgiveness will put you in a cage of endless cycle that you can never outgrow it. You will be there. You can never leave that place. That's what unforgiveness will do. It will put you in a place where you're stagnant, but you thought you are growing. To put you in a place where you can never outgrow that mindset, that situation that happened. So thank you so much, Mr. James, for sharing that with us. Yes, Mr. Stuart, what's your take on that as well when it comes to unforgiveness?
I think for many people, if not most people, they think forgiveness is about external forgiveness of different people, etc., etc. And yet, like everything, charity starts at home. You have to forgive yourself first before you can forgive anybody. If somebody did something and you got riled, maybe you say, okay, I can forgive them, but are you forgiving yourself for losing it? That's the question. And most people don't. And, that is the whole thing. Once we can forgive ourselves, we can move on, become better people, and then we don't get affected by external circumstances so much. So forgiveness is a very, very big word, but it is an inside job. And that's the key.
That's powerful. Thank you so much, Stuart. That's very powerful. Forgiving first yourself and being able to forgive others. We are about to wrap up, but I also later would want to bring again Mr. James Ojo so that he can tell us about the vision and the goal of Destiny Connect Foundation. There's some lovely information and knowledge that we are going to receive in terms of the initiatives and the programs, that are currently running and those programs that are still to come. And there's a 5-year plan and a 5-year goal that has been set up. And Mr. James Ojo is going to talk about that as we are going to conclude. And he will also share the details of how you can, become part of Destiny Connect Foundation, how you can become part of Untold Stories of Hope podcast, and how you can really participate and to amplify, the voices of other people. Now, in conclusion, Stuart, since you are already here, in conclusion, what would you say to non-profit organizations and social impact organizations that are out there, and they are going to be partnering with Destiny Connect Foundation, or they are somewhere out there, they've got a vision, they feel like, okay, we don't know what to do, where to start, and how to navigate ourselves into greatness, because we see how Destiny Connect Foundation is doing well. It's growing so globally, at a rapid speed, and it's impacting the lives of many people. But there are those people with a vision just like Destiny Connect Foundation, or even greater, but they might be, still struggling to get off the ground. What advice can you give them in conclusion as we are wrapping up?
I think one of the most important things is the program that we're running called the 3 C's, which we spoke about at the beginning, because that is about communication, connection, and collaboration. And I think this is where humanity is going wrong. We don't know how to communicate. We're not taught how to communicate. If we can't communicate, how can we connect and how can we collaborate? So I think those 3 topics are the fundamentals of humankind, if you like. So, the one piece of advice would be to reach out to DCF and see how they can enroll within the 3C's masterminds, and then reevaluate that, how they're moving forward from there with their new knowledge.
Thank you so much, Stuart. That is powerful. And Mr. Zion, I think what Stuart has said is very important, because there has to be a foundation of how things are done. And when people become equipped with principles and tools that can help their own organization to become at a better place. Now, Dr. Janine, in conclusion, I had the honor and the privilege of sitting down on behalf of Destiny Connect Foundation with many organizations, organizations of girls at risk, some of the girls who've been molested, abused, some they were human trafficked, and they were returned into safe houses and all that. And we had the honor to be there to coach them, like organizations of elderly people who are homeless. And you realize that there are people out there who have the desire, who still have got visions in their hearts. I mean, I've sat down with elderly people who says, look, I'm 80 years old. I was with Zion the other day. We sat down with an 80-year-old man who still has a vision of impacting the world. He wants to touch 1 million people within a space of a year. And we had a conversation with him, and you realize that there are so many people out there. They still have got visions, dreams. I've sat down with people from different prisons, young people, old people, who still have got a burning desire inside of them for impacting humanity. What can you say to them, Dr. Janine? People who still have got dreams, visions, but they feel that, they are somewhere out there around the world. Either they are trapped in centers, safe houses, prisons, or some of them, they are trapped in disability centers or homeless centers and orphanage centers. There are so many of these places where people have got potential, but the potential is not so visible because they feel that they don't have the capacity to come out.
Buffy, you're taking me back to a story of when I was about 14 years old. And today, if I think about it, I'm like, I wonder how my mom signed that consent form. And I'll tell you why. Is because we were about 14 years old and our church camp was in the Soweto prison. So that's where we were spending, like, I don't know, a couple of days. I think it was 4 days, 3 nights, something like that. So we went there and we slept in the prison. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was scared thinking about this even. And we only took sleeping bags. It was obviously we wanted to live the way that the people in the prison lived. It was to teach us humbleness, value, and all those kind of things. And the biggest thing I learned on that camp, if I can say it like that, because we went into Soweto, we went to go paint houses and schools, and we spent time with people. And the one thing I realized that the biggest lesson I learned was that those people are there not because they are bad, not because anything like that. They made a wrong choice, but they're sitting there and they still have potential. We sat there, we spoke with artists, we spoke with businessmen, we spoke with people with the most amazing talents that could do things with their hand, builders. And I'm saying builders of buildings, but also builders of men. And you know what, Buffy? The only thing that they had different to us is that they made the wrong choices. And what I can say to that gentleman is there is still time. And it doesn't matter if you're sitting behind bars, behind dreams, behind circumstance, behind no opportunity, behind no finances. It doesn't matter what you're sitting behind today. You've still got time. You still got time to live out that dream. You still got time to live out that vision. Your circumstances does not determine. And what I would say to that gentleman that you spoke to, Buffy, is there's time. Go for that dream, achieve it, do what needs to be done. If that, I always say that passion burns on the inside of a person. Passion is that fuel that gives you the energy to do what needs to be done. That man that has a vision has passion, and there's still time for him to run that out. The only difference is the decision to say yes or to say no. So it's about making the right decision.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Jenny. Yes, there's still time, and anyone, doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter where you are, you can still be able to achieve that dream, that vision in your heart. There is still time. You can start now. You don't have to procrastinate. Don't wait for tomorrow. The time is now for you to start. Well, it's been an interesting conversation so far. Each and every one of us sharing our amazing story. Just before we round up, I'm going to pass the mic to Mr. James so he can just tell us more about Destiny Foundation and how anyone can be part of it, to be part of this movement of empowering people, making a positive impact in the world. So, Mr. James, you can take it off.
Thank you so much, Mr. Zion. I just want to say thank you again to everyone. Thank you, Mr. Puffy. Thank you, Dr. Janine, and thank you, Mr. Stewart. And thank you to our listeners, wherever you are listening from, wherever you are joining us from. So we have goals, and we have a long time goals. We have short time goals. But what I would like to say about setting goals is that if you are part of an organization like Destiny Connect Foundation, the vision is quite big and the mission is big, but we are quite simple, but yet simple and profound. We want to create a world where everyone's respected, valued, and empowered to thrive. So in that light, we have a lot of empowerment initiatives. And starting with the 3Cs mastermind that they've all spoken about today, and that is the three fundamentals, pillars of human interaction, and these are basics. And I believe that every organization needs it, every human being needs it. If you want to make a difference, if you want to make a difference in your own personal life or in the life of others, you need to understand the fundamentals of life, which is these three pillars of communication, connection, and collaboration. So to that, we have so many other impact projects and initiatives that are in the pipeline. But so far, we launched our flagship of one of the initiative, which is this program, the 3Cs program, is a 7 weeks program, and it has changed a lot of lives so far globally. We are able to reach, we've been able to reach over 200 people, young professionals, not only young, but irrespective of age, background. People have really participated in it, and their life has been transformed. But we are not stopping there. In the next calendar year, we want to reach 2,500 people. And I believe that that is just the scratching surface, because in the next 5 years, we want to impact 5 million people through these 3Cs, which is the fundamentals of human interaction, the communication, connection, and collaboration, because we believe that is the starting point. But we cannot do it alone. We want you to join us. We want you to join us to be part of this initiative, to be part of this movement, and together we can achieve even more. So how you can reach out to us, you can up on our website. You can find us on destinyconnectfoundation.org. We are on social media, and now we are also launching we have the podcast, which is also dedicated to empowering mind, amplifying voices, and also to transform lives. So your story is what we are waiting for. I believe that your story is what the world is waiting for. Your story has the power to uplift lives and to transform life. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening. And if you want to find us on social media, you can find us on Facebook at Destiny Connect Foundation, and also you can also find us on LinkedIn. We are a lot active on LinkedIn. You can find us on Destiny Connect Foundation. So thank you so much, everyone, to all our listeners. You can join us. We are waiting for you to be part of it. We need your hands on deck, and also we need your voice to be heard through Untold Story. You have your unique story. The world is waiting for you. Do not wait any minute longer. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. James Ojo. This is Untold Stories of Hope podcast brought to you by Destiny Connect Foundation. And we want to say thank you. My name is Pafimi Dupi, and I'm your host with Mr. Zion Enegeru. We have been honored to be in the presence of great men and a phenomenal woman, Dr. Janine Dokabo. I salute you, for your presence and also being able to share, those powerful testimonies and untold stories. You said a decision is just a matter of time and making the right decision in order, to twist or to turn the coin to the other side so that you can really change your life and advance your life. Stuart spoke about mindset, that story of the bees and everything. I was just thinking about it and imagining Stuart running. And I'm like, okay, it's crazy out there. But thank you so much, Stuart. Like I said, I call you the brains of Destiny Connect Foundation because you do a lot of great work behind the desk. Most people don't know Stuart. You have seen him now. You are very honored because you might not see him so much, but he's doing a lot of great work. And also, Mr. James Ojo, the founder of Destiny Connect Foundation. We honor you, sir, for the global vision. We honor you for your impactful societal interest and the passion that you have and the love for humanity, because it can only take such determination for a man like yourself to stand against all odds and to bring such a vision into fruition. And Mr. James Ojo has given all the contact details on social media. Even on the website, we have always spoken that if you want to support Destiny Connect Foundation, there are ways on the website in which you can click there, and make a donation so that the vision can continue to spread and impact the lives of many people globally. Because, those resources, they help a lot to keep the fire burning. So we are grateful, and I want to say thank you so much from me, Pafimi Dupi. You can also follow me on LinkedIn, and we can always share, good news and good stories together. And I'm handing over now to Mr. Zion Enegeru so that he can also say goodbye, and he will also give you his social media handles so that you can be able to interact with him. Mr. Positivity, my co-host, my brother. We are both ambassadors for Destiny Connect Foundation, and I'm so proud of you, brother.
Amazing. Wow. It's been an insightful and thought-provoking conversation today, hearing from Mr. James, Mr. South, and Dr. Janine. I tell you, it's easy for you to shine all by yourself. It's easy for you to shine alone. But if you want to shine brighter, there is need for us to shine together. Because together we can make a positive impact. Together we can make a difference in the world. Like we've said earlier, we have to become what you want to see. Yes, you have to become that impact you want to see. Don't just be a spectator. You have to participate. And how can you participate? Come join us in Destiny Connect Foundation. Let's join our hands together. Let's empower more people. Let's amplify more voices. Let's transform more lives together. And I tell you, before you know it, we can reach the entire world and make more impact in places you never thought that we could be. Yes, thank you so much for joining us again on the Untold Stories of Hope podcast. My name is Zion Enegeru. It's always a privilege to host this event. And let me tell you, relax and be expectant, because the next episode is going to drop very soon. And I want you guys to be there to listen, because there are so many amazing stories that needs to be shared on this platform. If you have your story, don't worry. We are here to help you share your story to the world. Come join us, and I tell you, together we can make a positive impact. Till we meet again next time, have a wonderful day ahead of you. All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Untold Stories of Hope podcast. We hope you enjoyed and you were inspired by today's conversation. Remember, you can get more access to resources plus join a thriving global community of change makers by visiting our website at destinyconnectfoundation.org. Please subscribe to our channel and spread the word. Don't forget to turn the notification on. Until next time, keep inspiring your world.